Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Institute of Financial Wellness, Protecting Your Greatest Asset webinar on demand. Let's get right into today's agenda. Today, we're going to talk about understanding some of the risk exposures that are out there, the different available products and solutions, the appropriate coverage amounts, making sure you're paying the best price, important facts that you should know, and lastly, how to use life insurance as a unique financial tool. Okay, so now, what's at risk? Well, certainly your ability to earn income. We want to make sure if something happens to you, that those bills are going to still be paid. Your loved ones and your assets. If something happens to you, we want to make sure your family's okay. And if you end up getting sick and you need the care, you're going to have the funds that are able to take care of that. And your legacy. How do you want to be remembered? So what are some of those available products and solutions that are out there? Life insurance. If something were to happen to you, there's going to be money left for your loved ones. Disability insurance. If you either are sick or hurt, there's going to be funding available to cover those expenses. And long-term care insurance. If you can't perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, there's going to be money set aside to cover that need. So what are some of the appropriate coverage amounts? Well, generally speaking, for life insurance, you're going to want to have 10 to 20 times your annual income. For disability insurance, you're going to want to have 60 to 70% of your annual income. And for long-term care, on average, the cost to stay in a nursing home is almost $104,000 per year, almost $50,000 to get home care, and just under $60,000 to be in assisted living facilities. Making sure you're paying the best price. Generally speaking, life insurance for $1 million of 20-year term for a 40-year-old male is going to cost about $50 per month, and for a 40-year-old female, $43 per month. Disability insurance, you're looking at about 3% of your salary. I use an example. Which job would you prefer? Job A, where you're making $100,000 a year, you get sick or hurt, and you start earning $0, versus job B, where you're taking $97,000 in a year. If God forbid you're sick or hurt, you're going to receive $60,000 per year, tax-free, till age 65. And long-term care. On average, a 60-year-old female, in order to receive $6,000 per month, they're going to be looking at paying $6,000 per year. Now think about that. $6,000 per month at the cost of $6,000 per year. Some of the important facts that you should know about life insurance. You might have heard the myth. I do not believe in life insurance. Most people who say that likely were influenced by somebody with an agenda. Myth number 2, just buy term and invest the difference. The truth is, it depends on what makes sense for your situation and your goals. Another myth you might have heard, I already have insurance through my employer. This is true, and insurance through your employer is great, but if you decide one day to leave your employer, it might not be able to go with you. And lastly, life insurance isn't important now. I'm young and I'm single. The truth is, when you're young and single, it's going to be a lot easier to pay for, and it's certainly going to cost a lot less. Okay, guys, so there's 6 more important facts I want you to know. Number 1, only 30% of Americans have sufficient life insurance coverage. Number 2, 19 million Americans want to get life insurance, but are stuck in the process. Number 3, 3 out of 10 workers entering the workforce today will become disabled before they get to retirement. And number 4, almost 50% of all home foreclosures on conventional mortgages are caused by a disability. And number 5, 350,000 personal bankruptcies are caused by an unexpected injury or illness. And number 6, someone turning 65 today has a 70% chance of needing long-term care services. Life insurance is a unique financial tool. Well, first off, there's 2 different types of life insurance. You have term insurance and you have permanent insurance. What are the differences? Well, term is for a temporary need. You're going to pay it as you go. It's got lower initial costs. It's got a fixed expiration date. And has a benefit paid at death only. And there's no cash value. Versus permanent insurance, you have a permanent need. You buy it and you own it. The costs are higher initially, but you have coverage for life. The benefit can be received during life and death. It builds cash value over time, and you have access to tax-advantaged cash while you're living. But sometimes the best thing to do is to have a blend of the two. Okay, now we're going to talk about some of the different types of permanent insurance and their key benefits. Number one, whole life insurance. That's going to have cash value that's tied to the performance of the insurance company, also known as the dividend. Number two, universal life. That's going to have cash value that is tied to current interest rate environment. Number three, variable life insurance. Now that cash value, that's going to be tied to the performance of the mutual funds inside the sub-accounts, aka the stock market. And lastly, indexed universal life insurance. That cash value is tied to the performance of an index with downside protection. Let's talk about life insurance and some of its common uses. First off, college education. You can help use the cash value in your life insurance to pay for college. And the best part about it, it's not reportable when you apply for financial aid. Number two, if you need money for a down payment on a house, you can access the cash value. Number three, starting a business. Did you guys know that Walt Disney used his cash value and his life insurance to fund the Disney Corporation? And number four, retirement income. You can actually create a pension using your cash value inside your life insurance. And number five, it's an alternative asset class. In 2008, when the market was suffering, your cash value was safe and secure. Okay, everyone. Lastly, I want to go through how we use life insurance as a unique financial tool. I want to go through an example of a woman who is 30 years old, in good health. She put in to a life insurance policy $360,000. And she was able to pull out, through loans and withdrawals, over $828,000. And this policy started with a death benefit of $711,000. And after all those withdrawals, at death, age 90, she still left $663,000 to her heirs. Okay, everyone, I want to thank you for attending our on-demand webinar, Protecting Your Greatest Asset. I want to leave you guys with three important takeaways. One, that you learned how to understand the right type of insurance, to know the appropriate amount of coverage needed, to make sure you pay the best price, and as a bonus, you learned how to use life insurance as a unique financial tool. And remember, when it comes to financial decisions, never say never, never say always, it depends.